on the 18th of January 2024. I'll take apologies for absence first, please.
So I have an apology from Councillor Elliot King.
I also have apologies from Councillor Alison Anthony. Any others? No. Okay, we'll move to disclosures of personal or prejudicial interest. Are there any items on the agenda today? Councillor Smith.
Yeah, I just member of the Municipal Authority and an appointment panel, and I've got this position to speak but not vote.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Anderson.
Yeah, I'm being renewed for Seagoon School.
And you're on the list today, yeah?
Today, yeah.
And
Yes.
yeah, and personal prejudicial in the same item, I'm also on the list.
Okay. On then to the minutes of the previous meeting, pages 1 to 5. I have no requests for any amendments, but happy to take them if anybody has. If not, all happy to agree.
Agreed.
Thank you very much. Announcements, the Leader of the Council. I have no announcements for this morning. Public question time. I see no members of the public present, and I do not believe we've received any questions online. Councillor question time. There are no councillors present who are not part of the cabinet or chairs, and I do not believe we've had any questions in from other councillors. So we'll move then to item 7, which is the Customer Charter and Service Standards Framework. And if I can invite Councillor Mandy Evans in as chair of that committee to introduce the report, please. Councillor Evans.
Hiya, Rob.
Thank you.
I've moved. I don't know where I am in this house anymore. Sorry, I apologise. Right. Obviously, this have come to our committee numerous times. There's been a considerable amount of work achieved, I would say. I would still say we've got a long, long way to go. And obviously, you know, as this policy is being developed and delivered within the organisation, you know, we will achieve the aim. But I would like to thank Sarah and her team for the professionalism and the support they've given us. And this policy probably is an important one because it is the customer contact strategy, where it is the first point of contact for all our residents and for our partners. So we've done a lot of work. We obviously will review this as we deliver and develop as we progress. But a lot of work being done, and it is probably a very, very important policy where our residents will be able to initiate that point of contact and raise their concerns and their complaints, and you know, positive messages as well as what we would call negative, but to work together and to deliver and develop. But we've done a lot of work on this, and the reviews need to be drafted in, which they are. So going forward, we will achieve a lot, but it's taken a long time to achieve to where we are today, but we are getting there, Rob, and it's quite a positive goal for us as a local authority. Okay,
thank you, Councillor Evans. And can I just thank you for the work that you and the committee have done on this, and I'll call Councillor Lewis now in as Cabinet Member for Service Transformation to respond on behalf of Cabinet.
Thank you, Leader, and thank you to Councillor Mandy Evans and also to the Corporate Services Service Transformation Committee for all the work they've done on the Customer Charter and the service standards. This was brought to their meetings in July and December, and their comments and views were taken into account. The Charter and the standards aim to provide clear guidance on what the public can expect when they contact the Council and what is considered good practice. They've been developed alongside heads of service across the Council, adjusting non-statutory timescales where needed in order to meet rising demand from the public, and that's in terms of the timescales it takes when people make first contact with the Council and when they're expecting to receive a response. Consultation has been significant, and that has also been undertaken with the public, which has included a survey online and in paper format in our libraries, engagement with the Ageing Well Steering Group. The council also asked people for feedback at a large engagement event in December, which had representation from groups who work with the council, such as the LGBTQ+ Forum, the Disability Liaison Group and Ageing Well. About 144 people responded to the consultation, and some adjustments were made accordingly following the feedback from residents. It's important to note the Charter and the standards are a dynamic set of guidelines. Therefore, although it is recommended that this version of the Charter and standards is adopted today, it will be subject to change and development going forward. It is therefore proposed that Cabinet delegates authority to directors and the relevant Cabinet member to make any minor changes to the standards as appropriate and in consultation with myself and Councillor David Hopkins. So I therefore move the recommendations, and just to, in conclusion, to say customer contact and the quality of customer contact for this council is of vital importance to us, and we will continue to make improvements to make sure that the experience people have when they contact us is a positive experience. And if it isn't, we will learn from that and adjust accordingly to improve our methods. So therefore, it's recommended that the Cabinet approves the Customer Charter and Service Standards Framework for adoption from the 1st of April 2024. Thank you, Leader.
Thank you, Councillor Lewis, and I'm happy to formally second and again place on record my thanks to all that have contributed to this report. And as you say, it lays out some clear service standards. I see those as a starting position, and as you say, where we can improve upon those, we will do so. Are there any Cabinet members who wish to comment on the report? If not, the report has been moved and seconded. So can I ask you all if you are in favour of the recommendations on page 6? Thank you very much. That is carried unanimously. Thank you very much. We'll now move to agenda item 8, which is another report from the Financial Resilience and Transformation Committee, and that is on co-production. So again, Councillor Evans, I'll come to you for an introduction of the report, and then we'll move to the relevant Cabinet member to respond.
Thank you, Leader. During the last 12 months, we've been working with Co-Production Lab Wales to increase our knowledge and obviously to deliver co-production throughout the local authority. It does work well with social services, and we want to pass it right throughout the local authority. So alongside the development of this policy, we've established a co-production champions network within the colleagues who work within the local authority. And we've provided dedicated space for peer support and leadership, learning, and we've invested in staff's training, and we are developing this co-production. So obviously the purpose of this policy is to ensure that co-production is considered along other methods of engagement and applied in all areas where it can add value. To encourage the consistent approach to co-production across council departments, and when talking about co-production with other organisations and residents, we ensure that the term co-production is understood. So this policy has been co-produced with staff and with members, and the main aim of this policy is to increase co-production for Swansea residents. Currently, we are still working in-house, and we are still currently working with Co-Production Lab Wales, but that partnership is obviously coming to an end very soon. And this policy is helping to build the infrastructure needed to co-produce with citizens in the future. So some departments and projects are further ahead with co-production, and this journey has taken our teams probably on a different journey, but we are in very early stages. So co-producing policy is one of the most advanced types of co-production, and this council should aim to do more with co-production and to increase the levels in the future. So the main audience of policy is council staff, and we're involved with internal stakeholders to co-produce the content and to feed into its development. So we have consulted the draft policy, online surveys. We've had 3 drop-in sessions at the Waterfront Museum, 3 team sessions, consultation with champion sessions, and corporate services financial resilience services team committee session has been to us. So we did receive during the consultation 120 views and comments on the draft, and we had 76 responses to the survey, and the others were gathered from opportunities as listed above. So the next steps for us are obviously, once this policy has been adopted, we will promote it widely across the council, and in all service areas we will encourage how to consider how to best deliver this policy. To support implementation, co-production Lab Wales are developing an extensive toolkit which will provide guidance and support for delivering co-production activities. So where am I? Sorry, guys. So I would just like to say again, thank you. It's been an exciting agenda item, and I think we've all learned a lot from it. And I think we were all quite nervous in the beginning of what it would bring. But it's been an exciting agenda item, and I would like to thank CoPro Lab Wales and Lee Weenham and his team and Rian, because they've brought quite a bit of debate to the meeting. So I would just like to say thank you, and it's probably a positive one again for the local authority. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Evans, and again, thank you to you and the committee for the work that you've done along with Co-Production Lab Wales. I'll bring Councillor Gwilym in now to respond on behalf of Cabinet.
Yeah, thank you, Lisa, and I'd like to obviously thank the committee and Councillor Mandy Evans for the work that they've done on this. This is an important and significant step forward towards our goals of embedding and subsequently co-producing council provision and changing the way in which we work. It will be a difficult cultural shift, and sharing power may not come naturally. However, we know that that there are the benefits to this and to working in this way, and that it is in fact the right thing to do. We are on a journey and we all have a role to play in this. We must have co-production at the forefront, and it should be considered as an option. There are excellent examples of co-production already in departments across the council, and wonderful staff that we can really learn from, with many volunteering, putting themselves forward to become part of that co-production council champions network to continue to support each other and staff along this co-production journey. I'd like to take the opportunity to thank the committee and CoPro Lab Wales, along with the officers and the champions, ward members as well, who've participated in many sessions. And as Councillor Evans said, there's been a lot of consultation and engagement, and people have been really invested in creating this policy and the accompanying toolkit. We are the first local authority to look at an overarching co-production corporate policy. So that's a really significant step forward, and I know from conversations with CoPro Lab Wales that they've been really excited, and I've seen this as a real positive that councillors and that they've got that political backing to work in this way. So yeah, I'd just like to move the report.
Thank you, Councillor Gwilym, and yeah, I'll happily second. And again, as you said, it's important that we identify areas across the council where co-production is appropriate, and I think the table in Appendix A is really helpful in guiding people as to when consultation or information are more appropriate routes than co-production, because co-production will work everywhere. But as we've said in other debates, I think co-production is something that's been used in this authority for many years and has been well established, but now is on a formal basis as a policy, and that is to be welcomed. So with that, it's been moved and seconded. Is there anybody who wishes to comment on the co-production policy? If not, again, I'll go to the vote. If you're in favour of the recommendations on page 37, please can you show? Thank you very much. That is carried. Thank you very much, Councillor Evans and Councillor Gwilym. We'll move then to agenda item 9, and as Councillor King is not with us today, Councillor Gibbard will be moving the report on the annual Equality Review 22-23 on page 56 of your agenda. So I'll move to Councillor Gibbard.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll just speak briefly on the item in Councillor King's absence. So again, thank you to officers for the report, which is our annual update on our strategic equality plan. So looking at what's been done over the last years. As the case studies show, it really is a cross-council effort. We've got examples here from parks and cleansing, like provision of our changing places toilets and more inclusive playgrounds. We've got examples from education, with the diversity and anti-racism training being rolled out across our schools and schools of sanctuary projects, plus of course our annual commitments to things like marking International Women's Day, LGBTQ History Month and Holocaust Memorial Day, which is coming up in a couple of weeks' time. So as we say every year, there's always more work to do on this, but hopefully this report shows good progress being made and that cross-council commitment to equality. Thank you. Happy to move the report.
Thank you very much, Councillor Gibbard. And again, as I've done in previous years, thank you for the work that you did, especially on the initial work for the Human Rights City, which again, we're proud to be the only human rights city in Wales at the present time, and again, a very, very strong equality report before us. So very happy to second the recommendations you find there on page 56. Are there any comments or questions from Cabinet members? If not, we'll go to the vote again. If you are in favour of the recommendation on page 56, if you can show. Thank you very much. That is carried. We'll move then to agenda item 10. So this is on local governor appointments. Councillor Anderson, I'll give you 2 minutes to leave the room.
Thank you.
Oh, and Mr. Evans. Are we done to go? Okay, thank you. And we'll now go to Councillor Smith to move the report.
Thank you, Leader. It gives me great pleasure to move the report and thank those who've come forward to assist us as school governors. We know the important role they play. So I formally move the report.
Thank you very much. I'll formally second. Recommendations are there on page 107. Can I all ask you to show if you're in favour of the recommendation, please? Thank you very much. That's carried. If we could ask Mr. Evans and Councillor Anderson to rejoin.
As you're not here. Right. But enough, but yeah, it's
I did say we
Definitely.
yeah.
all against.
Unanimous.
I'm afraid you can farewell.
That's right.
Okay, we'll move to agenda item 11. This is maximising education other than at school. Councillor Smith.
Yes, thank you, Leader. I think it's me again on this item. And can I thank the officers for preparing the report and also all of those who've contributed in some way to the consultation and in formulating this policy. This report presents changes to the way that we respond to the needs of some of the most vulnerable learners in Swansea, learners who require provision other than at school. And in introducing the report, can I pay tribute to the practitioners that we have across our settings in Swansea, their expertise and their commitment, because that is the greatest asset we've got in meeting the needs of these learners, are the expertise and the commitment of staff. The report offers a way of harnessing that expertise and ensure that it is deployed in a way that meets changing needs. And I think that is a crucial part of this report. The needs of these vulnerable learners are changing. They will change in future, and it's important that we have that flexibility built into the system to be able to respond to those changing needs. As I've alluded to earlier, this is based on consultation. It's harnessing people's ideas and including as far as possible what people are telling us in developing the new model. I think this offers us a flexible approach. it offers us opportunities to intervene earlier than we are doing now, and it offers a way of building on the partnership and ensuring collaboration between different parts of the education system in moving this forward. So it gives me great pleasure to move the report at this juncture, Leader.
Thank you very much, Councillor Smith. And again, agree with everything you've said there. I think this is a real opportunity for us to improve that provision and better shape it for the challenges ahead. I'll happily move the recommendations on page 113 of the report, but I'll open it up now if anybody has any questions or comments for Councillor Smith on this report. If not, then we'll go to the vote. If you're in favour of the recommendations on page 113, if you could show, please. Thank you very much. And again, that is unanimous. We'll move now to item 12, which is the plans for the future special schools in Swansea. Councillor Smith, another one.
Yes, another one for me. Members will be aware of the background to this report. It's a much needed investment in meeting again the needs of a very vulnerable group of learners. We have quality provision across Swansea already. We know the work that's been achieved by Pen y Bryn and Craiglas over the years, but I think it now is a time to look to the future. Again, as I said in relation to the previous item, to be able to respond more effectively to changing needs. And I think this, by bringing the provision into one facility, a state-of-the-art modern facility, such as we're proposing here, it will enable us to not only respond, but to respond a lot better in future than what we already are. So again, Leader, it gives me great pleasure to move the report.
Yeah, thank you, John. Just happy to second the recommendations on page 150. And again, as you said, I think much needed facility, but not only will it provide a state-of-the-art facility for those who require those additional special provision in school, but it also allows them to get that in Swansea, where some at the moment have to have that out of county. This provides the best facility possibly can be delivered within our own county boundaries and provides a basis on which for us to deliver that. So very happy to support that recommendation. I will open it up if any cabinet member wishes to add comment. If not, we'll again move to the vote. The recommendations will be moved and seconded on page 150. You can show if you're in favour, please. Thank you very much. That is carried. We'll move then to item 13, which is the damp and mould policy for council properties. I'll go to Councillor Lewis.
Thank you, Leader. I know that Cabinet members will be acutely aware that following the tragic death of our Bishak in 2020 and the subsequent ruling by the court that it was directly associated with damp and mould, this prompted many councils into action, and I'm very proud of Swansea Council's response. And in many respects, this is a retrospective report, because at the end of 2022, our building services and housing services went directly into action to tackle damp and mould and mildew in our council properties. So this policy really is formalising the actions which have been taking place over 12 months. And so I'm really pleased to see this policy here today. There are key elements of the policy, and those are the council's and the contract holders' responsibilities, which are outlined, the staff training, which is extensive, the preventative works, which are clearly key, and the responsive works, and also the planned works. And just to highlight, in terms of response, so when a tenant reports to the council, our responsibility, we intend to respond within 5 days with an inspection. And then if it's remedial works, we will carry those out within 28 days following that inspection. Obviously, if it's more intensified works, then that will take longer, but this is if they're minor works. So the policy is in front of members. I don't intend going through it in detail, but I just wanted to place on record my thanks to Nigel Williams, Carol Morgan and their teams for all the work that they've done to date. And I'm pleased to report that we had a significant increase in reporting back in 2022, but actually this winter, those reports have eased back. So that is a significant sign of the work that we've carried out in tenants' properties to improve their properties and bring them up to a good standard. So very pleased to approve and move the report today, and the recommendation is moved on page 342, sorry, my eyesight, 342.
Two.
242. I should wear my glasses.
Thank you very much, Councillor Lewis. Very happy to second the report. And as you say, I think the work that's gone on to identify those properties where they were at risk of damp or mould, and then to take corrective action to minimise that, but also to educate and assist our tenants whereby they may be experiencing condensation and other ones which can seem similar to mould, and help them to try and overcome those issues within the properties is a really helpful step forward. And again, the policy is really clear on how we intend to continue to support tenants with that over the coming years. So again, I place my thanks for yourself and for the officers and the work that's been done on this, because it's a really important issue. And I know it will reassure tenants that we do take this matter seriously and act when we need to. Okay, are there any other comments or questions? Councillor Anderson.
Yeah, I would just like to put on record as well. He was response every time I've gone to Nigel Williams and his team on damp. They have been, I would say, 100% in getting going and seeing the people and getting a response. So I'd like to put on record my thanks to Nigel and the team for their commitment on this damp and mould issue, leader. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Anderson. If there are no further comments, then again, we'll go to the vote. The recommendation on page 242 has been moved. You can all show your support if you agree with the recommendation. Thank you very much. That is carried. And our last item for today, which is a tripartite report between 3 cabinet members. So I'll just do my initial intro on this and move the report. We'll know that smart city infrastructure is really important for modern cities. This report allows additional infrastructure to be installed as part of that broader city deal programme. Swansea has aspirations to continue to be one of the most technically advanced cities in terms of its bandwidth for supporting businesses and properties to connect to high quality networks, and this additional infrastructure will allow that to continue as bandwidth both through fixed and mobile connections continues to need more and more capacity as people and businesses grow and their data needs become more significant. It will also allow us, of course, to continue to modernise services and to provide smart infrastructure around our city, allowing us to react more quickly to the needs of our residents. So again, very happy to see this report here and the continuation of the delivery of the core elements of the city deal. I'll come next to Councillor Lewis.
Thank you, Leader. Gives me great pleasure to second this report, and my thanks to you for all the work that you've done, particularly with the city deal and this digital programme element of it. This is clearly going to benefit residents and businesses and visitors in the city centre, but I look forward to a time where we look at opportunities where we could potentially roll it out to our urban shopping centres, Gwasana'n, Morriston and Pontarddulais as an example, so that benefit can be replicated elsewhere in the city. But very proud to move the report and really pleased to see this here today. Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you, Councillor Lewis. Councillor Stevens, win as well.
Okay, yeah, so hopefully, so before we get to comments, I think this certainly is the next step, and we've got to think with the improved bandwidth, it's not just about perhaps better mobile signal, but it's about what that can enable in terms of smart wearables, health wearables, heart monitoring, all things like that will come with having an improved digital infrastructure in the city, and hopefully, as you said, in some of the outlying areas, district centres across the country. So I know it's this technology adopted in our bins, and as you said, Leader, that we the potential improvement in resources that has for us, but there's also life-saving technology such as this, put in things like the life buoys in the marina that would tell and alert if one of those has been used. So there's a myriad of positives of this, and I'm happy to do the report.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think always with these things that they can seem quite dry in terms of what they do, or you're putting in a better connection. but actually what it then enables, as you say, in terms of life-saving opportunities and better services are the real goals and the real wins on this. So thank you both for your comments there. The report has been moved and seconded. Are there any other comments from any cabinet members? If not, then we'll go to the vote. The recommendations are on page 255. If you're in favour, please show. Thank you very much. And that is carried. That was our last item for today. Thank you all for your attendance, and I declare the meeting closed.
We can stop the recording.